What happens when one of America's most ruthless television hosts decides to take down a member of the British royal family on live television? What you're about to witness is perhaps the most uncomfortable interview in television history, where Prince Harry walked into what he thought would be a friendly chat about his new book, only to find himself completely dismantled by Bill Maher's razor-sharp wit and relentless questioning. This is the moment that left millions of viewers speechless and had the internet buzzing for weeks. Make sure to subscribe and drop a comment below, because this story gets absolutely wild. The lights are blazing hot in the real-time studio as Prince Harry walks onto the set, waving to the enthusiastic audience. He's wearing his usual casual blazer and jeans combination, that California relaxed look he's adopted since moving to America. The audience gives him a warm welcome, cheering and applauding as he makes his way to the guest chair across from Bill Maher. "Welcome to Real Time, Your Royal Highness," Maher says with that signature smirk that his regular viewers know all too well. Though I guess it's just Harry now, right? Or do you prefer Duke? I never know the proper etiquette when someone voluntarily gives up their royal duties. Harry shifts slightly in his chair, his smile faltering just a bit. "Just Harry is fine, Bill. Thanks for having me on the show." "Oh, the pleasure is all mine," Maher continues, leaning back in his chair with the confidence of a predator who has just spotted his prey. "I've been looking forward to this conversation ever since your book came out. Spare, right? Interesting title choice. Very fitting, actually." The audience chuckles, sensing the underlying tension in Maher's tone. Harry's media training kicks in as he maintains his composure. "Well, it's about finding your own path when you're not the heir to the throne. Being the spare, as they say." "Right, the spare," Maher nods slowly. "You know, most people who feel like they're second fiddle just deal with it quietly. They don't write tell-all books about their family and then go on every talk show in America to promote it. But hey, that's just me." Harry's jaw tightens almost imperceptibly. "I think it's important to share your truth, especially when there's been so much misinformation out there." "Your truth," Maher repeats, emphasizing each word. I love that phrase. It's so perfectly modern, isn't it? Not the truth, but your truth. Like truth is subjective now. Like we all get to have our own personal version of facts. The audience is completely silent now, sensing that this isn't going to be the softball interview they expected. Harry's publicist, watching from the wings, looks increasingly uncomfortable. "I think everyone's entitled to tell their story," Harry responds, his voice slightly more defensive than before. "Oh, absolutely," Maher agrees with mock enthusiasm. "And what a story it is. Let me see if I've got this right. You grew up in literal palaces, had every privilege known to mankind, went to the best schools, had your every need catered to by servants, and now you're complaining about how hard your life was?" "That's not what the book is about," Harry says, his composure starting to crack. "No? Because from where I'm sitting, it sounds like the most expensive therapy session in history. Except instead of keeping it private like a normal person, you decided to broadcast your family drama to the entire world for profit." The audience is now completely captivated by the tension. This is television gold, and everyone in the studio knows it. Harry's face is starting to redden, his hands gripping the armrests of his chair. "You clearly haven't read the book, if that's your takeaway," Harry shoots back, his royal training in diplomacy beginning to abandon him. "Oh, I read it," Maher says, holding up a copy of Spare. "All 416 pages of it. And you know what struck me most? The complete lack of self-awareness. The entitlement. The way you portray yourself as a victim while simultaneously living a life that 99% of the world could only dream of. You don't know what it's like to grow up in that environment," Harry responds, his voice rising slightly. "You're right, I don't," Maher admits. "I grew up in a working-class family in New Jersey. My dad was a radio announcer, my mom was a nurse. We didn't have servants or multiple homes or the best education money could buy. But you know what we also didn't have? The audacity to complain about it to the entire world." The audience is now completely silent, hanging on every word. This is turning into a masterclass in how to methodically dismantle someone on live television. "It's not about complaining," Harry insists, but his voice lacks conviction now. "It's about healing and moving forward." "Healing?" Maher's eyebrows shoot up. "You want to know what healing looks like? Healing is doing the work privately, with a therapist, Maybe with your family. Healing isn't writing a best-selling book where you air every piece of dirty laundry you can think of. That's not healing. That's revenge. Harry's face is now visibly flushed, his hands trembling slightly as he reaches for his water glass. The camera catches every micro-expression, every sign of his growing distress. "I think you're being unfair," Harry manages to say, but his voice is barely above a whisper now. "Am I?" Maher leans forward, sensing weakness. "Let's talk about fair. Is it fair to your brother William to write about private conversations you had with him? Is it fair to your father to reveal personal details about his reaction to your mother's death? Is it fair to your stepmother Camilla to portray her as some sort of villain when she's been nothing but supportive of you?" Each question hits like a physical blow. Harry's breathing is becoming more labored, his eyes starting to glisten with unshed tears. "You don't understand the pressure," Harry whispers, his voice cracking. "The pressure of being handed everything on a silver platter?" Maher's voice drips with sarcasm.
"The pressure of having access to the best mental health resources in the world?"
"The pressure of having a platform that millions of people would kill for? Yeah, that sounds really tough." The studio audience is now completely transfixed by what they're witnessing. This isn't just an interview anymore, it's a public execution, and Bill Maher is the executioner. The silence in the studio is deafening as Harry struggles to compose himself, his hands visibly shaking as he sets down his water glass. Maher watches with the cold calculation of a chess master who knows he's 3 moves away from checkmate. "You know what really gets me," Maher continues, his voice cutting through the tension like a blade, "is the hypocrisy of it all. You talk about wanting privacy, but then you sign multi-million-dollar deals with Netflix and Spotify. You say you want to protect your family, but then you expose them to the entire world. Which is it, Harry? Do you want privacy, or do you want to be a celebrity?" Harry's mouth opens and closes like a fish gasping for air. The confident prince who walked onto this stage 20 minutes ago is nowhere to be found. In his place is a man crumbling under the weight of his own contradictions. "I never wanted to be a celebrity," Harry finally manages to whisper. "Really?" Maher's laugh is sharp and humorless. "Because from where I'm standing, you've embraced celebrity culture more than most actual celebrities. At least Kim Kardashian doesn't pretend she's doing it for some noble cause. She owns what she is. You, on the other hand, want to have your cake and eat it too." The camera zooms in on Harry's face, capturing the moment his carefully constructed facade finally begins to shatter. His lower lip is trembling now, and there are actual tears forming in his eyes. "I lost my mother when I was 12 years old," Harry says, his voice breaking with emotion. "Everything I do is to honor her memory and protect my own family from going through what I went through." "And there it is," Maher says, throwing his hands up in the air. "The mother card. Every time you get backed into a corner, every time someone calls you out on your behavior, you bring up your mother. Diana died tragically, and that was horrible. But Harry, millions of kids lose their parents every year, and they don't all write tell-all books trashing their families." The tears are flowing freely down Harry's cheeks now. The proud prince has been reduced to a sobbing man-child on live television, and the entire world is watching. The audience is completely transfixed by this spectacular meltdown unfolding before their eyes. "My mother would have wanted me to speak my truth," Harry sobs, using his sleeve to wipe his nose. "Would she?" Maher's voice is ice cold now. "Because from everything I've read about Princess Diana, she tried to shield you and your brother from the media circus. She fought to give you as normal a childhood as possible. And here you are, voluntarily throwing yourself and your family into that same circus for profit. You think she'd be proud of that?" Harry's sobbing intensifies, his entire body shaking with the force of his emotion. This is no longer a controlled breakdown. This is a complete psychological collapse happening in real time on national television. "I think," Harry manages to choke out between sobs, "that my mother would understand that I'm trying to break the cycle, that I'm trying to protect my children from the institution that failed her." "The institution that failed her?" Maher's voice rises with incredulity. "Harry, the institution didn't kill your mother. A drunk driver in a tunnel in Paris killed your mother while she was being chased by paparazzi. The same paparazzi that you now court every chance you get. The same media attention that you claim to hate but can't seem to live without." The brutal accuracy of Maher's words hits Harry like a physical blow. He doubles over in his chair, sobbing uncontrollably now. The camera captures every devastating moment, every heaving sob, every tear streaming down his face. You want to know what would really honor your mother's memory? Maher continues, showing no mercy whatsoever. Raising your kids quietly, privately, away from the spotlight. Being a good husband to your wife without broadcasting every detail of your relationship. Maintaining some dignity and class instead of airing your family's dirty laundry for the highest bidder. Harry can't even speak anymore. He's completely broken down, his face buried in his hands as he sobs like a child. The proud descendant of kings has been reduced to a weeping mess on live television, and Bill Maher isn't done with him yet. But that doesn't sell books, does it? Maher presses on relentlessly. That doesn't get you lucrative streaming deals or speaking engagements. Being a quiet, dignified member of a royal family doesn't pay the bills when you've got a mortgage in Montecito and a lifestyle to maintain. The audience is now completely uncomfortable, shifting in their seats as they witness this public humiliation. This has gone beyond entertainment into something darker, something that feels almost cruel to watch. Harry tries to speak through his tears. I just wanted people to understand. Understand what? Maher demands. That being born into incredible privilege is somehow a burden? That having access to the best of everything is actually a curse? That being part of one of the most respected institutions in the world is somehow oppressive? Harry's crying has reached a crescendo now. His face is red and blotchy, snot running from his nose, his carefully styled hair disheveled from running his hands through it. This is the image that will be plastered across every tabloid and social media platform for weeks to come. The institution protected my grandmother's reputation while destroying my mother. Harry manages to gasp out between sobs. Your grandmother? Maher's eyes light up with a new target. You mean the woman who dedicated her entire life to service? Who put duty above personal happiness for over 70 years? The woman who loved you unconditionally despite your constant public tantrums? That grandmother? Each word is like a dagger, precisely aimed at Harry's most vulnerable spots. The prince is now completely defenseless, emotionally naked, and exposed in front of millions of viewers. She never protected my mother from the press, Harry cries. She was the Queen of England, not your mother's publicist. Maher shoots back. And speaking of your mother, let's talk about how she actually handled media attention. Yes, she struggled with it, but she also used it for good. She brought attention to landmines, to AIDS patients, to charitable causes. What do you use your platform for? Complaining about your family and promoting your various business ventures. The comparison to his mother's charitable work hits Harry like a sledgehammer. His sobbing becomes even more intense, his whole body convulsing with grief and shame. The studio lights seem to beat down on him mercilessly, exposing every tear, every moment of his complete humiliation. I do charity work. Harry manages to whimper through his tears, his voice barely audible. Do you? Maher leans back, his voice dripping with skepticism. Because it seems like most of your time is spent on Netflix documentaries about how hard your life is, or podcast episodes where you complain about your family, or interviews where you play the victim. When was the last time you did something charitable that didn't involve a camera crew? Harry tries to respond, but only more sobs come out. His face is completely red now, streaked with tears and snot. This isn't just crying anymore. This is a complete mental breakdown happening in real time on live television. And let's talk about your wife, Maher continues, sensing that Harry is completely defenseless now. Meghan walked into the royal family knowing exactly what she was getting into. She's an actress, for crying out loud. She understands publicity and media attention better than anyone. But somehow, she's also a victim of the big bad royal family? Don't, Harry tries to say through his tears, don't bring my wife into this. Why not? Maher's voice is sharp as a razor. You brought her into it when you wrote about her in your book. You brought her into it when you made her part of your victim narrative. You can't have it both ways, Harry. You can't use your wife to support your story and then claim she's off limits when someone challenges that story. The audience is now completely silent, many of them looking away in discomfort. This has crossed the line from entertainment into genuine cruelty. But they can't stop watching this train wreck unfold. She never wanted any of this, Harry sobs, his voice breaking completely. Then why did she marry into the royal family? Maher asks with brutal logic. Why did she accept the title? Why did she participate in all the royal duties and ceremonies? And more importantly, why is she now making millions of dollars off that royal connection she supposedly never wanted? Harry's crying reaches a new level of intensity. He's hyperventilating now, struggling to catch his breath between sobs. The proud prince who once served in Afghanistan, who once carried himself with military bearing and royal dignity, has been completely destroyed by Bill Maher's relentless questioning. "I can't," Harry gasps. "I can't do this anymore." "Can't do what?" Maher presses, showing no mercy whatsoever. "Can't answer basic questions about your own behavior? Can't justify the choices you've made? Can't explain why you think the world owes you sympathy for problems that are entirely of your own making?" The camera captures every devastating moment as Harry completely falls apart. His hands are shaking uncontrollably, his breathing is ragged, and tears are streaming down his face in rivers. This is the most spectacular public meltdown in television history, and it's happening right now. "I just wanted to be happy," Harry whispers through his tears, his voice like a broken child. "Then be happy," Maher responds coldly. "Stop writing books about how miserable you are. Stop giving interviews about your trauma. Stop making documentaries about your struggles. Just be happy, quietly, privately, like a normal person. But you can't do that, can you? Because being happy doesn't pay the bills." Harry's response is nothing but incoherent sobbing now. He's completely broken, utterly defeated, reduced to a weeping shell of his former self. The transformation is shocking, from confident prince to sobbing mess in the span of 30 minutes. "You know what the real tragedy is here?" Maher continues, his voice now taking on an almost philosophical tone. "You had everything. You were born into a position that billions of people would kill for. You had a loving family, incredible opportunities, the chance to make a real difference in the world. And you threw it all away for what? For money? For attention? For the chance to play victim on the world stage?" Harry can't even look up anymore. His head is buried in his hands, his shoulders shaking with the force of his sobs. The proud descendant of kings has been reduced to a crying child, and the whole world is watching. "Your brother William," Maher continues relentlessly, "is preparing to be king. He's raising his children with dignity and purpose. He's supporting his wife through her health challenges privately, without turning it into a media circus. He's everything a future king should be. And you? You're here, crying on my show, because someone finally called you out on your behavior." The comparison to William hits Harry like a physical blow. His crying intensifies even more, if that's possible. The sibling rivalry, the constant comparisons, the knowledge that he'll always be second best, all of it comes pouring out in this moment of complete vulnerability. "I never asked to be compared to him," Harry manages to choke out. "You didn't have to ask," Maher replies. "The comparison is inevitable. You're brothers. You're both princes. You both had the same opportunities. But one of you chose duty and service, and the other chose drama and self-pity. Guess which one you are?" The studio audience is now visibly uncomfortable. Many are looking away, unable to watch this complete destruction of a human being on live television. This has gone far beyond entertainment into something that feels genuinely disturbing. I think Harry tries to speak, but his voice is so broken it's barely recognizable. "I think I need to go." "Of course you do," Maher says with a cruel smile. "Because when things get uncomfortable, when someone challenges your victim narrative, you run away. Just like you ran away from your royal duties. Just like you ran away from your family. Just like you ran away from your responsibilities." Harry tries to stand, but his legs are shaking so badly he nearly falls back into his chair. The cameras capture every moment of his humiliation, every stumble, every sign of his complete breakdown. He's crying so hard now that he can barely see through his tears. This is what happens. Maher says, addressing the audience directly while Harry struggles to compose himself. "When someone who's never been told no, who's never been truly challenged, finally meets reality. When the protective bubble of privilege gets popped, this is what's left. A grown man crying because someone asked him to take responsibility for his own choices." Harry finally manages to stand, swaying slightly on his feet. His face is a mess of tears and snot, his hair disheveled, his expensive clothes wrinkled from his emotional breakdown. He looks nothing like the confident prince who walked onto this stage. "I'm done," Harry whispers, his voice barely audible. "Yes, you are," Maher agrees with finality. "You're done being taken seriously. You're done being seen as anything other than a spoiled brat who threw away his birthright for money and attention. You're done being the victim. And most importantly, you're done fooling anyone with your sob story." Harry stumbles toward the exit, still crying, still shaking, completely destroyed by this encounter. The audience watches in stunned silence as he makes his way off stage, leaving behind any remaining shred of dignity he might have had. "Ladies and gentlemen," Maher says, turning back to the camera with a satisfied smile. "Prince Harry, everybody. Living proof that you can't buy class, dignity, or self-respect, no matter how many millions Netflix pays you." The camera lingers on Harry's empty chair as the show cuts to commercial, the image of his complete breakdown already going viral across social media. This is the moment that will define his public image forever. The moment when the mask finally slipped and the world saw what was really underneath. What did you think of this absolutely devastating takedown? Have you ever seen someone get completely destroyed on live television like this before? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and make sure to subscribe for more incredible moments like this one. This is exactly why Bill Maher remains one of the most fearless interviewers on television, willing to ask the questions that others won't and expose the truth that celebrities try to hide.